Hello, everyone. I am here with state employment economist Gail Krumenauer
Hello.
and senior economic analyst Anna Johnson.
Hi, everyone.
And today we are here to discuss the Employment Department's new report detailing the impacts of paid family, medical, and safe leave in Oregon. So, Gail, can you get us started by telling us a little bit more about Paid Leave Oregon?
Paid Leave Oregon will provide job protected paid leave time for parents bonding with new children and for serious health conditions experienced by workers or their families, or for those needing safe leave due to intimate partner violence or stalking. I want to just emphasize up front that while the paid benefits are new as of September 2023, the situations they cover have long existed in the workforce.
So, what do we know about how common these occurrences are for workers?
For example, about 46,000 women in Oregon between the ages of 15 and 50 gave birth to children in a given year. 7 out of 10 of them had also worked in the past year, and 6 out of 10 were still employed. As another example, we know that in 2021, in the western region of the US, about 7% of those who'd worked in the past week had had cancer at some point in their life. And that's just one example of the many serious health conditions that could require recurring or even inpatient treatment, the type of thing that someone would need paid leave Oregon time for potentially. And last but not least, in 2016 and 2017, there were about 1.6 million women and nearly 850,000 men in the US who lost at least a day of work due to intimate partner violence or stalking. And again, that's not new. Research shows that as far back as the 1990s, working women who experienced domestic violence missed an average of 7 to 8 paid days at work.
Wow, those are some really eye-opening and sobering examples, Gail. Anna, can you tell us how the current types of employer-provided leave time cover workers who might need time away from their jobs for these kinds of family or medical reasons?
I can. Thanks, Luke. So in 2017 and 2018, about two-thirds of US workers had access to some type of employer-provided paid leave. And then a little more than one-fourth of US workers had only had access to unpaid leave options. And the remaining 5% of workers had no access to leave time from their employers, paid or unpaid.
Are you able to notice any significant difference in this kind of coverage by demographic lines?
Yeah, there are some differences. Existing programs are not equally accessible to all workers. Workers who were either younger or had less educational attainment, regardless of their age, and workers of Hispanic or Latino origin were less likely to have access to leave time.
Got it. So, in other words, not everyone is getting protected time off from work for these kinds of serious medical issues, or after they've had a baby, or adopted, or fostered a child, or those kind of situations.
That's right. On the average week in 2017 and 2018, about 1 out of every 10 workers needed to take leave from work, but did not take that leave. And it was actually pretty evenly split between workers who had access to paid leave from their employers and workers who only had access to unpaid leave.
So, Gail, Oregon is the 12th among all states and Washington, D.C. to pass this kind of paid family and medical leave program into law. Do you have a sense of what these programs have looked like in the states that have passed them?
We took a detailed look at the paid family and medical leave program in Washington state. Their program started paying benefits in January 2020, and it has many similar provisions to paid leave Oregon. Those include paid family leave, time from work to bond with a child in the first year following birth, adoption, or foster care placement. Both states also have paid leave for a worker's own or family member's serious health condition, meaning the type that require inpatient care, ongoing treatment, or pose an imminent danger to someone's life.
Do you know how many claims Washington is seeing for its paid family and medical leave program?
Well, they actually saw the largest number of claims for benefits filed in the first month that the program was paying those benefits. So in January 2020, Washington had 24,600 claims.
Why was it the highest in the first month of the program?
And that's because new parents who brought children into their families over the past year they were already eligible when the program started. And so those eligible parents were larger right at the start of the program, and they made up half of the claims in the first month.
Got it. So did the amount of claims in the program change over time?
Yes, in a more established program, the average monthly claims in Washington were about 17,700. Parental leave made up about 1/3 of all monthly claims. And overall, the numbers for all other types of paid medical leave stayed roughly the same at both periods of time, both at the outset and in a more established Washington program. Workers' medical claims for their own conditions were at about 8,000 during each period. But since the parental claim volume declined, paid leave for workers' own serious medical conditions became the most common type of claim.
Were some workers more likely than others to take leave?
Yes, female workers and workers who were in their 30s, and also workers of Hispanic or Latino origin, they were all among the demographic groups that had a larger share. They were a larger share of the approved customers for Washington's paid leave than they're part of Washington's eligible workforce for the program. And we took a look by industry as well. And in Washington, healthcare workers made up 18% of approved customers for paid family and medical leave, although they were 12% of the eligible workforce.
Now, Anna, I know, turning back to you, Anna, I know that we don't have a good sense of, well, we don't know what claims will look like in Oregon yet, but do we have any information related to paid leave Oregon that is specific to Oregon?
Yeah, we do. And you're right, we don't know exactly what claims will look like in Oregon yet, but we do have information about the number and types of employers that are approved to offer equivalent plans in Oregon, which is one of Oregon's more unique features of paid leave in the state.
Could you give us a sense of what those are?
So Oregon employers may apply and be approved to offer their own paid leave plans instead of using the Paid Leave Oregon state program. These employer provided alternatives or equivalent plans provide that paid medical, family, and safe leave benefits to employees that are of equal or greater to the benefits provided by the state through the Paid Leave Oregon program.
So who is using these equivalent plans in Oregon?
As of May 2023, more than 2,600 employers had equivalent plans approved. These approved plans covered 327,500 employees, which was about 17.3% of all jobs in the state. And the employers offering these plans directly to their employees they're more likely to be larger companies with at least 50 employees. And these equivalent plans were more concentrated in the educational services sector.
Got it. So moving back to you, Gail, could you help put all of this together for us? Do you know, or do you have a sense of what the impact for Oregon could be when the paid leave program rolls out for workers who have qualifying events?
So we can use the Washington experience as a guideline, and then also take out those counts for those workers who are going to directly get these benefits from their employers. And that can leave us with some idea of what usage could look like in the state administered Paid Leave Oregon program. So if the first month of Paid Leave Oregon claims looks similar to Washington's experience, Oregon could possibly expect between 14,000 and 21,000 claims for benefits in September of 2023. We also need to keep in mind, though, that all of those eligible Oregon workers with newly born, adopted, or fostered children in the past year that we talked about before, they can apply for Paid Leave Oregon benefits in September. So if there's a nearly universal uptake from those eligible new parents in the past year during that first month of benefits being paid, the estimated total of Paid Leave Oregon claims could reach as high as 37,000.
So you mentioned Washington as an example. Do you think it's likely that Oregon would see claims decrease over time like Washington did?
We can't be sure of what will happen. And the eligibility requirements to get benefits in Oregon is a bit different than for our neighbors to the north. If Oregon follows the Washington example, though, we could possibly expect between 10,000 and 14,000 claims per month in a more established program.
Got it. Well, again, thank you so much to Anna and Gail. We're going to wrap up soon, but currently I just have one final question. Where can we find more information about the paid leave program or the report that you guys did?
Thanks, Luke, for talking to us today. The full report is available on qualityinfo.org on the publications page. And if you're looking for information about how Paid Leave Oregon works, who's eligible, and how to get benefits, please visit paidleave.oregon.gov.
Great. Well, again, thank you both so much. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Bye.